It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is nerd breaking news. Now that we saw Cleveland get sweep, they're screaming we might need help and we might have his savior coming that way. But is Cleveland the best place for LeBron James to go after this year? Before we get into that, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our episodes. Let's jump right into it. Let's go straight with the kid. What's your take?
If he wants to win a ring, he needs to go to the East. The West is just too hard. The most money is with the Lakers, so if he decides to stay in LA for the home lifestyle, the kid, money, he'll stay in LA. The way the Lakers are talking is different than what his timeline is. He said last week that he wants to make a decision by August, but the Lakers are not playing around. They want to start doing all the free agency as soon as they can in July. So that's going to be a little bit complicated. In terms of his best option, it has to be the East. There's a lot of rumors going on that Cleveland is looking at, well, Harden said he's going to come back today in a multiple-year extension. They re-signed the coach, so he's not going anywhere. So Jason Kidd's not going to be there. The rumors are that trade Evan Mobley to LA because they need a big, and then Cleveland gets LeBron. And then some way, shape, and form, they get Giannis to form Donovan Mitchell, Braun, Giannis, and then Harden, which essentially you could do a broomstick plays better defense than James Harden. That's his best options to win. I think the fact that the New York Knicks went to the finals, he's not going to go to New York. The rumor was which team needed him the most, and narratively wise, was to fit his ego. He didn't want to be a third fiddle in LA. Come to Cleveland because you're the missing piece to get us over the top with Donovan Mitchell, Harden, and the Greek Freak. So it's Cleveland. It's unless you want to help out his kid in LA.
Ego.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go. It's complicated right now because I think that the Lakers, even though it didn't end necessarily great for the franchise, they got swept by the OKC. There's a world where LeBron stays with the Lakers for a lower salary than what he is apparently demanding, and they can form a better team around him and Luka and Austin Reeves. But the problem is that according to the reports, that's probably not what LeBron is looking for. I think this all depends on how many years he wants to play and whether he wants to keep, bringing in his son. If he still wants to play with his son and he thinks that there's a path for Bronny to be an NBA player and he can help him in that sense, I think LeBron will stay with the Lakers, regardless. And then he will figure out the money situation with the Lakers. And he will have to basically lower his salary a little bit. I think that the new management of the Lakers, is not going to sign him for the full amount of money that he can sign for. So that leaves only one situation, which is Cleveland. No? The return, the son comes back second time. When I came back the first time, I got you the ring. It only makes sense that when I come back again, I get you another ring, right? Like that's the selling point for Cleveland. Now, the money has to work, just like the kid mentioned. There's a few situations where they can make a trade. The Lakers don't make a trade unless it is for Mobley, because Jared Allen is he's not the piece that you would trade LeBron for. So I think it's complicated. I think that at the end of the day, the money situation is not going to work out. I think that Cleveland already gave an indication, just by the fact that they rehired Kenny Atkinson, even though he made some mistakes as a coach. They're trusting him again because, that's the coach who actually got them past the first and the second round right? And got into the conference finals. But again, this is the East. So I don't even know what to think about the Cleveland season right now. Whether to give them credit or not. It's complicated. So I think there's no clear return for him to go to Cleveland. I think he stays in the league.
Professor.
I actually have a radical thought. One, I think there's no chance he stays in LA at all, because I think that when you're great at something, when you look to your left, you look to your right, and you see folks who put in less effort than you do, it disgusts you. And at the end of the day, for him to be 40 years old, still yamming on people, and you got Luka over there who can't put the bonbons down. If I'm LeBron James, I'm offended by that. Plus, you've got management over there saying that the behavior of the team is currently okay. And Luka's saying that Austin Reeves can't be in trade talks. Well, if you don't trade Austin Reeves, then who are you going to trade? There's no one else to trade. Like, what are we talking about? At the end of the day, that thing is cooked. And LeBron has been in the game long enough to know when things are cooked. So I think he would like to stay with the Lakers, but I think he also knows that he can't, which is the exact same logic that forced him out of Cleveland to begin with. Then you look at the Cavaliers, and you realize they got a problem. Unfortunately, James Harden is their point guard. LeBron James has been cooking James Harden long enough to know that James Harden just is not that guy. At the same time, he's been out coaching, because we know LeBron James is really the coach of his own teams. Kenny Atkinson for so long, know that Kenny Atkinson can't coach. Kenny Atkinson was the guy who decided to leave James Harden in the game when he was getting torched. If you're LeBron James, why would you sign up to work for this man? That doesn't make any sense. At the same time, LeBron probably saw the same thing that we saw with Donovan Mitchell trying to coach up his teammates, and his teammates not listening. All he sees is trash, trash, and trash. The only way LeBron James can do anything in Cleveland is by trading half of the starters. Max Strus got to go, and Mobley got to go, and James Harden got to go. But James Harden can't go anywhere, so he's stuck. Ain't no way. I don't see him going back to Cleveland. So then you stop and you ask yourself, well, where else can LeBron go? Down in the South in Miami, we all know that we're bringing in Giannis over here. It might make sense for him to join the Miami Heat and to assist with our Bam Adebayo and Giannis experiment. That might make sense. He can go back to where he got his very first ring, back to the beginning. But do I think he's going to go there? No. I think he's going to go to Detroit. The reason why is because LeBron is close with Cade, for one. Two, the Pistons are tired of Duran and they don't want to pay him all that money. So what I think LeBron's going to do, he's going to make a phone call to AD, his literal best friend, and the two of them are going to go to Detroit together. Because remember, AD is from Chicago, LeBron is from Cleveland. They can both go home as often as they want to, do their Midwest thing, and do it in Detroit and help their friend Cade. And that's your big three. Three friends who are essentially fighting against everybody else close to home. So for all of them, they can say they're at home, even though they're really not. Because the Cavaliers and the Pistons have this relationship where essentially, from the fan base's perspective, they're the same franchise.
Man, that Detroit team will not win anything.
What I'm saying is he's going to dismantle the Detroit team. That's
just
what
like he did to Cleveland the first time that they basically traded Andrew Wiggins and everybody else.
He's going to make a phone call. He's going to say, get rid of this one, this one, this one, and this one. He's going to bring in whoever he wants, and they're going to let him do it. Because if you're the Pistons, you're in a dangerous spot because you have a guy who's good enough to be an MVP, but the guys around him ain't got the juice except for that Thompson kid. So you keep that Thompson kid, you keep Cade, you bring in LeBron, you bring in AD, and all of a sudden you're cooking with grease. And then at the same time, too, who's their coach?
JB.
Exactly. Fired. It's Jason Kidd now. Yeah. And here we go. And you're done.
Bickerstaff, I think his name.
Exactly.
Yeah, the problem is that if you're cooking with grease, you actually want to cook with beef tallow, to be honest. I don't think this is it. To be completely honest, on paper it sounds amazing. Don't get me wrong. Maybe if this was a younger LeBron with a different situation, but I don't know. Like, again, on paper it sounds good, but they would have, the salaries have to work. Again, what is LeBron doing? Is LeBron going to Detroit and basically saying, hey, by the way, you also have to pay me my money because I am the LeBron James who you just described and said, I see around me, and it's just basically people not giving any effort. When I go to Detroit, those people, they're also out. Just letting you know, right?
Yeah.
So if this is a Cleveland part one situation where he comes in and he says the number one pick, Andrew Wiggins, gone. Right?
Yep.
The same situation. Jalen Duren, he couldn't get a rebound
Gone.
in the playoffs. Gone.
Yeah.
Right? I would love to see it. That's if that happens, that's why we love the NBA, right? Because it would remind me of like when Paul George got traded to the Clippers and then LeBron, not LeBron, Kawhi was announced with the Clippers, even though that we saw that how that ended.
That was such a good
I guess yeah, it would be amazing from that standpoint, but I don't know.
I think Cleveland's box office, if you have Donovan Mitchell, who can't seem to continuously remember how to win games, you have James Harden, who stopped playing defense in Pee Wee. You have Giannis, who hasn't been irrelevant in 4 or 5 years and dying to get back to that mountain the Yoke took from him years ago. And then you have LeBron, who's continuously trying to feed the Grand Canyon-sized ego of his. And the narrative would be, my final year, it has to be year 24 because he wakes up screaming in the middle of the night saying, Mike.
Correct.
He's so obsessed with Michael Jordan that it has to be 24 years playing basketball. That if you just look at those 4 dudes, 3.5, I'm not counting Harden that much. 3.5 with Allen. Hey, Allen, just get the rebound, man. You're good. And get a couple of 3D dudes like he did to the Eagles' point previously with Cleveland. That's a hell of a lot more enticing because he's older. That, hey, Donovan, Greek freak, do the bulk of the stuff. I'm going to come in the fourth quarter, do what I got to do. As opposed to Detroit, Cade Cunningham is a goon and he's a beast. But then when you're going to ask Cade Cunningham, hey, we're going to stunt your growth for LeBron. Come on, man.
True. There's one thing with this hypothesis because I know about this Cleveland Giannis thing. Do we think Giannis is actually going to Cleveland?
I think Giannis
he hates James Harden,
East,
right?
I think Giannis is staying in the East.
But sure. we know that he hates James Harden, right? We remember that, right? They hate each other.
Does he? I forgot.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because I think that James Harden had that press conference where he said that what Giannis does requires.
Oh my God! Yes.
Regretting that now, aren't we, Cleveland? Regretting that now, aren't we?
Oh, jeez.
And then if we recall, the biggest weakness that Cleveland has is James Harden's existence.
Going back to the professor's hypothesis real quick, because I want to play the game the professor was playing.
Yeah.
So my team wouldn't be Detroit because I just thought about this. Mm-hmm. If I'm LeBron and I'm trying to go to a team that has assets, whether to play alongside them. Okay, well, hopefully we'll see. Either assets that I can play next to because they're talented enough, and I also want to get together with my old teammate. I will go to Dallas.
Yeah.
Kyrie, right? Kyrie's my dude. They have a talented guy in Cooper Flag, right? What was the GM
in the Western Conference? LeBron didn't want to do that.
Cooper Flag.
I'm just playing the game. I'm LeBron. I want to play with my dude, and I also want to go play with a talented guy. That's all I'm doing.
No, let's keep dancing.
I like it. I like it.
If that happens, and he goes to Dallas, which again we all love, we all eat up. The free agency is the best free agency.
Mark Cuban's back.
You're gonna tell me, yeah, for real. You're gonna tell me that Luka is not dropping the chicken wing, going, really? I'm gonna clean all you boys up in Dallas.
Well, the problem is. Listen, that would be box office.
Yeah, and LeBron would be like,
box office.
LeBron would be like, you took my team from me, and I took your team from you.
That's such a dark horse selection.
I love it.
That if that happens, it sells itself. It's such a great storyline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to Dallas, help Cooper Flag.
Remember that Kyrie came out in a podcast very recently. Basically, they asked him the whole thing about, you, LeBron could have been, and he said the whole thing about if I would have been the mature guy that I am now back then, championships.
And then to the Eagles' point, remember that Dallas has Masai Ujiri.
Yeah.
And Masai Ujiri is close to Giannis. So your Giannis LeBron combination That actually could work in Dallas.
So
you have
you would take
Giannis,
Cooper
LeBron.
Flag for Giannis? You would take Cooper Flag for Giannis?
You don't have to trade Cooper Flag for
You
Giannis.
have to give the Bucks somebody.
Man,
come on.
Listen, it's
Would
business.
you trade Cooper Flag for Giannis?
No.
Don't do it again, Dallas. Don't do it again.
No, but what I would do is I give you every pick I have for the next 20 years.
Yeah, and what? I want that Flag kid.
God,
Yeah, Clipper situation, right? I'll say
Bucks are
this.
so screwed, they'll take whatever they can get.
The last thing I'm gonna say, as much as we're enticed by the discussion of like possible teams that LeBron would go and would fit and would make them better, I think that is like a narrative around the league of like there's only a handful of teams that would look into LeBron seriously because there's other teams that are probably saying as much as it would be box office having LeBron whatever blah blah blah. It's more about we don't want to be the team like that Cleveland team that literally destroys everything and is stuck with LeBron for one reason only. When LeBron did it back then, it's crazy I'm saying LeBron because it makes it look like he has so much power, but he actually did. He was young. He was hungry. He had enough of Pat Riley. He basically said, it's my time. And he went to Cleveland and did it. This is a different situation. This is declining LeBron. So I think we have to be mindful of the teams that are going to be, again, careful about, yeah, man, I don't know if I want to be the team that just, destroys, like Cleveland, right? Destroys a whole core, even though the core is not necessarily great, for a 40, how old is LeBron? 41? 40?
About
41?
yeah.
There we go. LeBron James, who might retire in 2 years, and they're sacrificing all of that. So
yeah, that's fair.
Something to think about.
Yep.
You guys took everything I was going to say and then flipped it around. Really can't add much to this
well, you're the
in the conversation. Well, but as a Laker guy, obviously I'm loving all these ideas because it means that LeBron's out of LA. Right? And I get that a lot of people are going to be against the idea of LeBron leaving. They prefer for him to stay. Him staying means 1 year less than we're able to develop a team around Luka, who is our future. And pretty much the new ownership that came in, they're looking into analytics. They just hire someone to do into that. Do you think they want to say, okay, cool, we're going to have to sit and wait and work around LeBron James, who right now, let's be real, as talented he is, he's not going to look at himself and say, hey, I'm happy as the number 3rd option in that Laker team. So I know that things don't look really well for him in LA. He's going to go ahead and try to find somewhere else to go. And because he loves the fanfare, he's going to go somewhere where he can stand out, kind of rebuild. I leaned into Cleveland a lot because they just lost. They need that superstar to come in and be that hero, that superstar to save them. And LeBron James wants that because that gives him the chance not only to come in and say, hey, you guys still need me. I am still a valid top player in this league. And I'm going to push Cleveland from being an Eastern Finals contender to an actual Finals contender and potentially even win an NBA Finals for his last season. And that's what he wants. He wants to leave in the biggest possible way so people can remember him and forget all his bad years that he's had in LA. So that's why I'm leaning for him to leave. LA really, it might as well. Like Cleveland, you also have the whole emotional stakes of it, the coronation instead. That he's walking around and like, hey, this is the first and last jersey I'm walking in and out. And obviously his hometown is right there. So for me, I'm happy that he's leaving in LA. Please, please, please just get out of here. Go to Dallas, go to Detroit, hang out with your friends in your last year. Any final comments before we end this topic?
For me, is don't underestimate the deal that AR-15 is going to get and how that affects them. AR-15 is about to get a bag. He's about to get a nasty contract. And LeBron wants, his people are saying that he doesn't want a pay cut. There was reported today that he didn't want to take a pay cut to go to Cleveland. So that kind of, unfortunately, could it be a sign and trade with the Lakers? That could possibly work. But he wants his money, and AR-15 wants his money. How are the Lakers going to deal with that? I think AR-15's contract might dictate where LeBron goes.
Also, even talking about that, you mentioned that Luka wants AR to be that second person for him. Like he's advocating for that. So that also plays into this whole conversation we're having with LeBron's potential of staying or going. And then to even what was the other thing that oh my god, it just slipped my mind. There was something else I wanted to say.
He's also
contract. Luka's contract. It ends in 2028. Do you think Luka wants to stay? If they look at management and say, hey, we're getting LeBron to stick around, we're paying him all this money, do you think Luka's going to look and say, hey, this team is excited to have me to be the star? Or is like they're still pampering to this other superstar in the team?
I don't think Luka's going to be in the Lakers for much longer periods. I agree
with that.
Yeah, I know. It's a possibility, but, it's all the way the management, it plays it out. And they really focus on Luka and put him in a position to win as best as possible and be able to contend. I don't think it'll go too far, but at least for the next couple of years, for the finals, we could keep Luka around.
No, but I think, hold on, but TK, I think the professor got something. He's cooking here with something because he's a free agent in 2 years. Wimby, SGA, and his former teammate, Jalen Brunson, New York, made the damn finals. One of those three are going to win a championship this year. Next year, somebody else is going to win it. Luka is going to be now into his late 20s in 2028, looking around and saying, I don't have an MVP and I don't have a championship. Why the hell should I be in LA?
Bingo.
And that's why management that we have right now has to make big changes for that roster to make it happen.
I'm going to say something a little bit mean, but I think it's the truth. There isn't much that most of these GMs can really do, because at the end of the day, when you're looking at it, all you can really do for most of these rosters is to draft well and hope for the best. But when you're trying to bring in a free agent here and a free agent there to make up for what your star player can and can't do, I haven't seen that work. And when you're looking at what Luka needs a defensive shooting guard. If he doesn't have a defensive shooting guard, it's not going to happen for him. Well, how many players are in the league now that you would call defensive shooting guards? Maybe 5 of them, max. And if you don't have one of those 5, it's not going to make a difference. So the reality of it is that the Lakers roster that Luka has now, that's just the roster he's going to have. Unless they turn Dalton Connect into a defender all of a sudden. And as a Heat fan, I can tell you all about having rosters for a little bit too long. Like, it's just what it is.
No, yeah.
So
they're obviously in a really tight spot when it comes to the roster and how you're going to be able to build this. But if you have LeBron one more year, you're only extending that extra year. Yeah. And the sooner you can work on it, the sooner you can try to do something with what you have right now.
But what I'm saying is, let's play with it. Who are you talking about? Like who?
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough to know the answer to that.
A couple of guys are, for example, that Watson kid from Denver, who's an amazing 3-and-D dude. He wants to get at least 20-something mil off the market. If you re-sign AR-15 for that nasty bag that he deserves, and then you re-sign LeBron because his people forced him to come back to LA. Then the Lakers are literally hold for like 40 mil to get 6 players. Right. You are wrapped. You now can't afford a guy like Watson.
But what I'm arguing is when you're looking at the salary cap math, once you have 2 players that make over about 35, you're screwed. Yeah. Because essentially, even if LeBron's money comes off the books, they don't get that money back to spend. They would have to trade LeBron for the kind of player that Luka wants. Would LeBron do that? No, because he'd want to play with that person. So if you're looking at it, Luka needs somebody like Andrew Wiggins, for example, somebody like that. But at the end of the day, the Lakers, there's no path for them to have it. And that's why I think ultimately, like when you're looking at their experiment, they're almost better off waiting some time and building around Austin Reeves than building around Luka because of the timelines. There's no way they can fix it in 2 years. Maybe I'm being too negative. I don't know. No.
Those are valid arguments, and those are questions that the new management team is going to have to answer. Some things that us Lakers fans are just going to have to look and we're going to see what they do. You know?
Yeah.
Any Any other comments, concerns
to go
regarding this
along.
topic
Take
before
this.
we call it? All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Go ahead and go in the comments. If you like one of our comments, go ahead. And if you don't, you have a different point of view, we definitely want to go ahead and hear your opinion. So keep your fandom alive and your wardrobe engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Breaking News.